This is Mile High.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
It's now time for the show.
Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. Thank you for joining us. And if you don't already know it, the Mile High Podcast is on iTunes, Stitcher, it's everywhere, Facebook, YouTube. So wherever you are catching this episode, hit subscribe. You never want to miss an episode. And of course, we are just coming off Mile High 5. And register now for Mile High 6 before September 30th. That's when the early 50% off the door registration ends. So you want to take action before September 30th. And I'm pretty sure this episode is going to come out before then. And I am super stoked to be hosting this episode with Tristan Schaub. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I certainly hope I am. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, you did. You're good, man. Good. You're always good.
With Tristan
you can call
Schaub.
me whatever, dude.
With Tristan Schaub, who I've just gotten to know recently in the last year. We've gotten to hang at the Berkshires event. We got to hang at Mile High, and I'm grateful to be one of the sushi samurai. I never knew I was going to get elevated to samurai status, so I'm super psyched about that. So let's welcome to the Mile High Podcast the DC2B, Tristan Schaub.
Thanks, brother. First, let me thank you for giving some time, and again, I love chatting with you. And you're on a different level, man, than others. You are definitely Mile High, and I want to thank you and Rochelle for you guys were probably the best hosts that I've ever seen at a chiropractic event. Mile High was just absolutely amazing. It's in the beautiful Denver area. It was just so much fun. And content-wise, it was phenomenal, from Dr. Pam to Dr. Liam Schubel to even some of the newbies, if you will, like Rhea Comrack and the Francisco, who came on from, so really just smart pacing and great content overall. And I just think that Mile High is just one of those must have to go to events during the year. Back in the day, I would say, Parker and DE were like the big ones, and everyone went 4 or 6 times a year. And I think that now it's kind of like, I think you put the Berkshires in there. I think you put Mile High. I think you put Cairo Sushi, of course, I'm biased. And, then any of the other kind of like other events, maybe like a Cal Jam and something like that, because you're going to spread out and get a little bit of everything. And Mile High was absolutely... I think it's probably going to win the Cairo Sushi event of the year next year. So just I can't see anyone outbeating it at this point in time. So they would have to do something really, really big. So you guys did a tremendous, fantastic job. So kudos and thank you.
Well, thank you that's a huge honor. I mean, that we're even in the running for that with a sushi award. I'm super
I don't
excited.
see anyone else winning it, man. And Billy did it. Billy does a kick-ass job at Cal Jam, but I went to Cal Jam and it won for 2017. But I'm like, Mile High was just out of this world. I think I had the best experience of, meeting so many different types of chiros that are philosophically based. And the big thing, man, is with your dad, dude. It's like seeing what, Dr. Donnie's doing and learning more about network. I know we want to jam on that a little bit because I want to learn more about what network is. And I think, when you said DC to B, I've been telling people when we talk about technique and stuff like that, I think network is where I would go if I'm practicing. I think it's the best on the body. I think you're getting fantastic results. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the closest thing to Didi. If Didi was doing chiropractic today, I think he'd be doing network. Don't you?
Well, I think that Donald's influence was much more D.D. Palmer than B.J. Palmer. His principles, his philosophy is much more the connection that, D.D. Palmer stems from, the connect the man, the physical with man, the spiritual. He was super influenced by B.J. Palmer because he was an upper cervical practitioner, and most of NSA technique most people don't know this, it stems out of upper cervical work. That's really the foundation of it. And so like great upper cervical people become great network people.
Did you hear the thing? Did you hear the rumor from Dr. Sean Diller? why I was scared to have your dad work on me?
Yeah, I did hear that.
So, not that it was hurt anything. I was like, I didn't want to be owned, and I was watching people just the power and just understanding what goes on there, and it just, to me, I'm a DD guy, like,
right.
I'm a DD, and so that's why I was like, I'm more connected to that work. And
Gotcha.
You've trained so many, you and your father have trained so many of the people that I'm connected with. And the cool thing, man, is between you and me, I think network docs are the coolest docs out there. Like, they're the ones that I can party with, I can talk with for hours. They're the most loving. There's something about network docs that just set them apart.
Well, just so you know, I want to just say, look, you all heard it here first, and we're going to hold Tristan to it. So,
so I'll be once I get done with either Life West Sherman or New Zealand, because those are my only options. I'll be going. Oh, I should say maybe Barcelona too. I don't know where they're at with this stuff, but
well, keep your free agent status, because you can get gear that way. So keep.
Yeah,
your free agent
I
status.
could probably pull a he got game. I would say, I'll be going to some NSA trainings once I get my degree. I think
well, wherever you are, I will make sure to do programs in your backyard. So.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Now, let's learn more about you, okay? I want people to get to know you, because you're all over the internet, but I want people to get to know more about you, who you are, where you come from. So let's start out with that. Where did you come from to get on the scene with chiropractic? I know that you're, not a second generation chiropractor yet, but I know your dad's a chiropractor. So let's people get to know a little bit of your chiropractic history.
Actually, future third generation chiropractor.
Oh, really?
My grandparents met in chiropractic college in New York City, and they had my father, my aunts, my uncles, who all got into chiropractic, either got into chiropractic or married a chiropractor, and I grew up as a chiro kid. I took my bumps and bruises. I gave them back to some people. People don't remember. I mean, to me in the 80s and the 90s, we were still having to watch those John Stossel BS, and I would go in the next day and be like, have to take your dad's not a real doctor, and I'd be let me show you what a real doctor does. So, and then when I got older and as a teenager, I used to bring over girlfriends like it was parlor room tricks, like show them what you can do, And then when I got even older, I would bring my real girlfriends over and be like, really, no, do what you need to do, because we're going out tonight to have some fun. Chiropractic has always been it's always been in my life. It's like literally, you know this, because it's weird for us. Like, it can start your morning conversation. It's your lunch, and this is in between chiropractic life. It's like it never stops.
Right. Yeah.
And you never get tired of talking about it. I stayed up with Simon Sensen the other night till 3 a.m. talking about did BJ kill Dee Dee? I mean, I'm weird. That's the stuff I like. And he's just like, man, you're out there. And so I chiropractic has always been a part of my life. But I said when I was 19 I wanted to be a rock star. So I was a singer-songwriter. I had a demo deal with Artemidas Records in New Jersey that I lovingly blew up because I was 19 and I didn't know what I was doing. And the only thing I knew that I wanted to do was lots of women. So I screwed that up. And I ended up in San Francisco, and I ended up going to what I like to call Bad Boy Summer Camp, which is county jail in San Francisco, for those of you that don't know. And everyone ends up in county jail in San Francisco once you move out there, because it's just, there's so much fun to be had. And I ended up actually getting involved with a program that was called LGBT Family Services, which worked with the 3 principles developed by Dr. Pransky and Sid Banks. And if anyone knows about the 3 principles, it's really based on thought, mind, consciousness, which if you trace back, is really about it's really chiropractic. It's chiropractic from a mental standpoint of you're born authentically healthy. It's your thoughts aren't real. It's really dealing with the thoughts of why you self-destruct and do destructive stuff in your life. And I was sitting in class one day, and I'm going, first 2 weeks, I'm like, I just got to do this to take care of my fine and do all this stuff. And I end up third week. I'm like, oh my god, this is chiropractic. And about 6 weeks in, I'm going, this could save the world. And I really truly still believe it, you know. And I think there's going to be an evolution of chiropractic with that. We can jam on that too. But I said to the person who was running, I said, how's business? And she goes, well, I live here, and it was 9th Street in San Francisco in Soma. No shower. She lived in the building that the work was being done. They were doing about $3,000 a month. People weren't paying their bills, similar to a chiropractic. It was just like similar to a chiropractic practice. People were coming and going as they pleased. There was no systems. And in 6 months, we turned $3,000 a month into $26,000 a month.
Awesome.
Because we started the first ever virtual streaming. And this is before streaming was regular. This is 2008, 2009. First ever streaming virtual classroom for court-approved drug and alcohol, anger management, domestic violence, and eventually we sold that company to the San Francisco city government. And then I started a company with a couple founders in San Francisco called DoctorBase, which was patient communication software. And I ran marketing and sales, and I was one of the co-founders, and we sold that to Cairo. And then flash forward a couple years later, my dad calls me and says, I got an idea, and thus Cairo Sushi was born.
Awesome. I didn't know it was your dad reaching out to you.
Yeah, it was. He had met a Cairo and Cayman Islands who was working for DHL, I believe, or UPS.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, that's funky. Why are you not practicing? And he kept saying, well, I didn't get business and I didn't get philosophy. And so we kind of help out with some business stuff.
Well, there you go.
So the intent of Cairo Sushi was really to give content and resources and point people in the right direction so they can say, oh, you know what, you need to hook up with Dr. Sean Dill, who's got really great business principles. Or, you need to hook up with Dr. Liam Schubel, who's got really great communication skills. Or Dr. Barb Eaton, who's really great with working with women. And so we wanted to be kind of like the third party to point people in the right direction.
Awesome. That's really cool. I didn't know that. And as I said, I've met your dad and your mom before. I've seen them at Network Transformational Gates, met them at the Berkshires. I really enjoy getting to talk to them, both of them, and connecting with them. Now, growing up, you mentioned like DE, and you mentioned Parker. So being a Cairo kid and growing up in a chiropractic surroundings, and it's funny listening to you because it's like I remember all that growing up myself in a chiropractic household, right? So, and the whole girlfriend thing and the whole like all that stuff.
Show them
right?
what you can do, Dad.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't do it with your dad. Never mind.
But with that being said, like, I'm assuming you had to go to lots of chiropractic programs as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, but I really enjoy, and I attribute a lot of the success I had professionally and in business to going to the Parker seminars.
Right.
And that was kind of what we were trying to recreate, maybe rightfully and maybe wrongfully. So I'm open and honest about what our intent was with Cairo Sushi to begin with. I got to be careful because there's some people on the board at Parker who love to throw around the I'll send you a lawyer's notice every now and then.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of Parkers. I went to, my dad had a consulting business, and I used to go to his own personal and professional development seminars. And so I think it's important, and I'll say this, man, I'd love to see more. I don't think kids, because I don't like kids, but I mean like teenagers. I would like to see, because teenagers can typically hold themselves responsible. I'd love to see a lot of teenagers at Mile High or at
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's really good for them, especially with developing their career. And we, you talked with Brian and Dr. Bones is part of the Cairo Sushi team, and I call Ryan an adopted Cairo kid because he went to Charlie Ward and going to Parker's and going to all these seminars when he was like 16, 17, before he even got into chiropractic school. So you look at the people that are really successful, second generation chiropractors, of course, because second, third, fourth, because it's just like innately like.
Well, they have a single focus mindset.
Yeah.
They have a single focus mindset. And people I love when my kids are at programs because I know it all rubs off on them. Like we have philosophy night here. We have Mile High Philosophy Night.
Yeah.
I like when they're at that just because all of that stuff sinks in. Even you think they don't listen, they're listening. They're getting something. You know what I mean? You know, there's little things here and there that they're always getting. So
I would
totally
encourage, like, especially 2018 Mile High. You know, I don't think it's a consumer event. Like I told Billy at CalJam, I said, you know, your focus should be to get more consumers there, and that's where he's going. I think. Right. Because it's a health and wellness event.
Right.
But for something like Mile High, I'm like, I challenge anyone who's listening out there. It's like, bring your kids. You know, bring your kids, bring your team. They need it more than you do in most ways, because they need to be able to communicate what it is, what we're doing. This is a great refresher for you, but for your kids that might be thinking about getting into this career, and that kills me, dude. Danny, you know what I see in certain groups, and you know what groups we're in. Sometimes we see people go, "Would you tell your kids to become a chiropractor?" And I hear them go, "No." I'm going, "What the frick? What are you thinking? That what? It's the greatest profession. Where else could you do something with your two hands and change that many lives?"
You know, yesterday, and look, everybody has ups and downs in practice. Some people have more ups and some people have more downs, but that's only the fault of the practitioner, okay?
Yeah.
You've got, and that's like anything else. It could be dentistry, it could be small business, it could be Silicon Valley, which we want to touch on, right? It could be anything. You're going to have ups and downs. But like yesterday, I was in my office, and I posted this. I was going over a history that I was looking at and preparing an x-ray, and there's this 32-year-old woman, and she says, you know, she writes on the form that I've got, you know, like I feel like my life is over with all her symptoms. I've been to every doctor, and she lists all the doctors and all the medications, and it's like, I got to have my life back. And like, you know, and you have like singleness of like thought, I know I can help this person by adjusting their spine. When you see those people, and like then that moment of gratitude that you're a chiropractor, if you don't have gratitude, if that doesn't fill you up with gratitude that like, I know I can help this person, you know, what else are you going to do? Right?
Yeah, man.
And to say I would have become a chiropractor for that experience, just that experience alone, it's like, man. And then like yesterday, I also had a woman, she was sitting next to, there was like, I'm sure you've seen this, where like two people that know each other are sitting in the chiropractic office, and they don't know they know each other. Oh, you come here. Oh, you come here too, right? So they're sitting next to each other, and they've both been seeing us, one for 2 years, one for 7 years. And this guy says, well, why do you come here? Like, what's going on with you? What's your problem, right? And she says, well, you know, 8 years ago or 7 years ago, I started coming here. I was in care for like 2 years, and then I got diagnosed with a malignant terminal brain tumor. I had to have immediate surgery, and all the and they thought I wasn't going to live. Dr. Danny came to see me in the hospital, as much as he could. When I was out of the hospital, I went to see him. I recovered. She says, and I'm sitting there, and she's telling this in the adjusting room to the person, and she says, and all the doctors said it was such a miracle that I improved, that they'd never seen anybody improve so quickly, and I attribute it to the fact that my spine had gotten healthier before that happened. Like, what more gratitude do you want? You know?
Well, we know the reason some of those people are saying it, because they're too focused putting tape on something, putting a pad on, and they want to be functional medicine doc, which there's nothing wrong with that. And well, maybe we got to stop saying that too. We always kind of cover. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know. Maybe we got to start thinking about that. I don't know, because it's. I don't know a better profession. I don't know a better platform with the greatest product, and I'm ready to help and do my part. And I think our part, what we're trying to do in Cairo Sushi, is help bridge the gap between kind of corporate and chiropractic, and startup mode for like Silicon Valley. And because I really look at chiropractic, growing up as a Cairo kid, I don't know if we got that part, but Cairo kid, if you look at Cairo kids, man, they are the healthiest of kids. They achieve better in school. They achieve better in sports. And if you just look at that portion, it's like, why is this extending to other places? And it really comes down to, look at the people that come to Mile High, and look at the people that come to Cairo Sushi, look at the people that come to the Berkshires. They're doing really well, but we need to reach out. And I know this sounds kind of like blasphemy, but we need to dude, me and you and a bunch of our people need to go to the ACA convention and get and just be like, we're here. You know, we know you're miserable. we know that you think that the easy way is going to be prescribing drugs.
Pain. Yeah.
What?
We can feel your pain. We can see your pain.
We're here for you. You know.
You know what you could do? You could set up an adjusting table and adjust them.
Yeah.
We'll set up a couple tables and bring Donald.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh man. So I think we have to start taking a little bit more aggressive action because, you know, we talked about earlier me being a DC2B with 3 schools out of what 18, 20. You're talking,
and there's more than that in the world. You know.
Yeah. That's scary, dude.
Well,
that's
it's
really
scary.
scary.
You look at the ratio of what's getting turned out. Now, you went to Silicon Valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what brought you Silicon Valley full circle back to chiropractic? What you learned there? How'd you end up back to, like, I'm doing this? I mean, you told me about your dad, right? And being, you know, calling you up to get involved with Cairo Sushi, but go from there.
Yeah, so, you know, I was running a couple different startups, and the big one was Dr. Base. So I always had my hands still back in healthcare. Tim called me up, said, hey, I got this idea. We contacted Dan Golden, who's in your great state of Colorado.
Love Dan Golden, by the way.
Dan's phenomenal. And then we brought on Ryan. So we have like this really interesting ragtag group of people. We have Tim, who's been in practice for over 40 years, and he's second generation, and he's still practicing. We have Dan, who's retired, older. We have Ryan, who's a millennial chiropractor who jump-started right out of the gate with phenomenal success. And then you have me, who's a DC2B, but also has the background of running successful startups and companies that have been acquired from $3 million to $19 million to $500,000. And so we're trying to bring kind of all our talents in and say, where do we plug and play and where can we help this profession? And it's really on kind of the business operations, development, sales, marketing, and then bringing people like you in, like we were talking about Samurai, you know, bringing in who knows how to put on really great events. Okay, great. Who knows how to do branding? Who knows risk management? Who knows technology to the core? And so that's kind of where we're getting really narrow niche and being like, we can bridge the gaps between a lot of things. You know, I think most chiropractors, it's weird, man. They rely upon what others tell them to do. And so I saw that, so I said, screw it. If that's how they operate, if that's how we're trained to operate, then we're going to come right in and we're going to put them in the right position to succeed. And we're going to start really hammering, this is what you need to do. And, you know, the Cairo Sushi mantra, man, is we're you know, we tease because I say we're bi, we're not straight or mixer, you know, we're bi. I've had kids come up to me at Life University and say, oh man, I really liked your stuff until I saw you doing stuff with mixed and stuff. And then 15 minutes later, a group of kids were like, aren't you guys really straight? You're really deep with the IFCO people and all this. So I'm like, you know, as long as the only thing with Cairo Sushi, man, is we're like, we believe in checking and correcting for vertebral subluxation. And we believe that there should be no drugs. In fact, we believe that we should all take a pledge that, you know, like the Pledge of Allegiance, that we are not going to be prescribing drugs in this profession, because I truly 100% believe which we've started doing, we do that, we have no identity whatsoever, you know, because you ask most consumers, what does a chiropractor do? It's going to range from back pain, which we grimace at, but at least it's something that's adoptable, to the people that get it at a medium level, which is where we can bounce off. The medium level is they believe us as natural health providers. And then you get the top tier that are like, oh no, they can explain subluxation better than most chiropractors. They understand life optimization. So we lose that medium ground, we lose everything, I believe.
Absolutely. Yeah,
you know,
lose it. And even from a marketing business standpoint, bad business move. Totally,
it's stupid.
It's a stupid business move, because then you lose so much of your uniqueness. As I said at Mile High, you know, the world's largest drugless healing art. You know, I talked about that. We're not that anymore, right? You know,
we've been so fine with saying, you know, back pain, cool, get it in, back neck pain. And I think that we did some injustice to the profession in the 80s and the 90s with certain things. If we can bounce back, and so part of the goal at Cairo Sushi is say, yeah, that's all great and good, but you know what? Imagine if every business owner with 25 to 50 employees or more had a chiropractor on demand or on staff.
Right.
Because then we get into the optimization conversation.
Right.
And then you take that medium person that goes, they're the optimization people and they're natural.
Yeah.
You take away that natural component, man, I don't see us back. I don't see it. I just honestly, if we get to 5 states, I think I'm shitting my pants, man.
Yeah,
So.
I agree with you, and it's a really bad business move. Obviously, it's bad philosophically, and we know that, and it's bad for the public. With Cairo Sushi, okay, and I had a great conversation with you at the Berkshires, with you and your dad about Cairo Sushi, what it was, what it meant, what it was about, what your intentions were. Let's help people understand that. Like, so what is Cairo Sushi? What do you want to achieve with it? And tell them about the samurai. You know, I've got to get a samurai sword up here and like mount it on the ceiling or something.
We'll get you one, man. We'll get you one. Okay, so it could be a little confusing, I think, for people, but Cairo Sushi, I call it a playground. We have ChiroSushi.com, which is our online magazine, and it has the channels for Facebook for Cairo Sushi. We have most of our free content, which is funded by partners and advertisers to be able to support that. So full disclosure, there's advertising partners and stuff like that. But that's where we put out most of our free content. We have a summit once a year. It's our only event that we do. It's going to be in June of this next year. Last year we featured Grant Cardone and Johnson Kim. This year we have Coop Blackson, Joanna Lord, Tucker Max. We have a couple other names that will be announced. And so when you look at the Cairo Sushi Summit, again, it's kind of the idea behind Cairo Sushi, bridging the gap between entrepreneurs and chiropractors. So we're bringing in, eventually by 2019, my goal is it's going to be 50% entrepreneurs outside of chiropractic. So an event that my colleagues in Silicon Valley would be like, oh, that'd be a cool event to go to. And that way we can start teaching each other about other cool stuff and bridging the gap like I was talking about. So,
well, let me interject there something on that before we go further. I say so often, it's one of my principles with my lifetime wellness practice and the people I teach. I always tell people, when I want to learn something, all right, like about an area of business, I don't go to a chiropractor.
No.
Right? I go to a person outside chiropractic that does that and knows
it's Liam
about
Schubel.
it.
No.
Well, he knows everything, right? Unless it's Liam or Shondell. Other than that, I go outside. Like if I want to learn something about Facebook advertising, right? I'm going to go to someone outside of chiropractic who does Facebook advertising. I'm not going to go to a DC, you know. And so that you're doing that, right? You do this. That's huge. That's a huge value too, and it's a unique thing that you do not see in other events.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And we and the extension of that is the Cairo Sushi Samurai, where I said, you know, the sharing can't stop, the learning can't stop. And so Cairo Sushi Samurai, again, Cairo Sushi is about mentors and learning from other people. We don't have all the answers. So Samurai is an extension of Sushi Summit. It's just our year-long summit, basically online. Where weekly we have people outside the profession. I've had John Ruin the other week, Noah Kagan, Mark Manson, author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a You Know What, and we have Rand Fishkin. We have Simon Sinek's team coming up this week on Friday. We'll be talking with. So that's portions of it. We have access to you guys, the mentors, people that will be presenting at the Cairo Sushi for years to come. And then we have our own kind of content and workshops that we work on. So my whole goal, man, is I just want doctors to make more money, save money, make life easier, and serve more people. I really, it's as simple as that. That's how easy it should be. And that's what I'm about.
And I like that you told me that you see Cairo Sushi as a resource. That the intention is to be a resource for other people, and that's huge. I really like that. What about this other thing? And we see different people say this in different ways. I'm gonna try not to say names, but unity in chiropractic.
Yeah. So I believe that we should be collaborative. I mean, I believe in integrative healthcare. But I've already made our stand. Like the only thing that we're firm on is vertebral subluxations and no drugs in this profession. I think it's really interesting to hear the different arts and modalities that come from chiropractic. I mean, it's been happening since the Langworthys and the Palmers. I mean,
Right.
and the Stevensons and Oakley Smith, man, from Dr. Faulkner's recent book, being recognized finally as someone. You know, the art of chiropractic's interesting, but I think as far as unity, I don't think unity is good, man. I really think that it's good to have different different modalities. There's some people that would argue with you and say, network's not chiropractic. And then that gives you an opportunity to go, well, it really is. Actually, it's the closest thing to the foundation of what the principles of chiropractic is, right? But I know you've heard that before. We hear stuff about people using other, some upper cervical dudes think that that's, and I think that's cool, man. So as far as modality unity, I don't like that. The other thing is, if you look at the American Medical Association, which became very unified, look what that's done to the healthcare system. So I don't think unity is the answer. I think collective intelligence and the openness to other people's opinions is what's needed. That's not necessarily unity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think we need to be unified in the front of no drugs and chiropractic. I keep going back to that. But unity is not the answer for the paradigm of chiropractic to succeed. In fact, I think it's cool if we educate our patients on the differences between different types of chiropractors so that they have a better ownership and equity involved in what is chiropractic. When we were at the Cairo Sushi Summit, man, John Kim told a story about getting this raincoat from Burberry and from a friend, and it was like a $2,000 raincoat. And here's my partner in crime, this dude that's built $1 billion publicly traded company. He's speaking at the Cairo Sushi Summit. And he's telling the story about getting a raincoat that's worth $2,000 and going, why did my friend give this to me? And he goes to the Burberry shop to get it measured and get it tightened up. And the guy at the Burberry shop starts telling him this story about how awesome this raincoat is and the history of it and how it was worn in wars. And John walked in going, why did this guy send me this jacket that I'll probably never wear, to walking out with pride? And so I think that's telling the story of chiropractic. We shy away from it because we think patients don't want to know it. They might not want to know about subluxations if it's not presented well, but if you tell this story, like you become a storyteller in telling the story of chiropractic, patients go, holy crap, you guys are rebels and awesome. I gotta get that's what we need to do, man, because then they understand. And then there's straights and there's mixers and all this kind of stuff. That's cool. It's the same thing we think it's cool about. They'll think it's cool about because it's storytelling.
Well,
but if it's just functional,
if you look through the history of mankind, that's how people learn. They learn through stories.
The Bible, everything.
Right. It's all parables and stories, but that's how people learn concepts and principles. That's why people like movies and books.
Exactly. We got to become better storytellers to our patients, and we have to empower our patients to become better storytellers for chiropractic.
Absolutely. And so, with that, you are killing it with Cairo Sushi. I got to tell you, I thought at one point I was good. I don't think I'm good anymore. You've raised the bar so high with promoting stuff, and I'm I just can't even keep up. So,
you guys are good. And I think you have a lot more on your plate because you're taking care of patients.
Well,
too.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I appreciate you saying that. What do you like to? Where's your drive? Where does your drive in marketing come, and where does your knowledge and wisdom with marketing and promotions come from?
Well, the wisdom and the knowledge comes from working, in the School of Hard Knocks of Silicon Valley. I mean, when you are in a scene where it's like, see, the thing about chiropractic is you're already coming in with a validated product. It's been validated since 1895. You're coming in with a validated degree. When you're going into the startup scene, man, and you're going to be on Daniel Bay's podcast or cast tonight, I believe, with Close for Cairo, and he said this about me, and I really respect it. And I'll echo it. I'm not saying there's a difference between entrepreneurship, but there's a degree when you're starting something that hasn't been validated, meaning the market says I don't even know what the hell this is, and you're trying to be like Henry Ford and say, you know what, you don't need faster horses, you need a car. And in our day and age, you don't need you don't need to go in to visit your doctor. You need to be able to access them on your smartphone, and that's the kind of stuff that we were building. It challenges you to become really, really huge on marketing. So I worked with, I used to present at Menlo Park at Facebook with Mark Zuckerberg's dad and teach dentists how to do Facebook marketing back when it first started coming out. I was one of the first beta testers for Google AdWords back in the early 2000s. So that's where the wisdom comes. My passion comes from a standpoint of it's such an easy way to deliver value. You know, we always think that marketing and advertising is just keep talking about yourself and shouting about yourself. But my passion comes from delivering consistent, valuable content that, 80 to 90% of it should be free. And then what people think of is going forward with you later on and saying, hey, this person might be deeper to work with, or this group might be deeper to work with. Then they invest some time and money,
Right.
And so that's where the passion and drive comes from. And it's just, there's a competitive nature. And I think that's good for all of us. I see stuff that some really smart people are doing out there in chiropractic, and I go, I like that. And it's good to know that. And there's things outside of chiropractic. That's, there's a challenge for me to make chiropractic cool, dude. I want to make it super cool. So that's part of the drive.
Yeah, well, it should be hip. Dude. It should be hip. So
we should have people like Grant Cardone and Tucker. Dude, we have Tucker Max, like the coolest. I think Tucker. Everyone was like shitting on me because they're like, "You're bringing Tucker Max in." I'm like, dude, Tucker's awesome, and he gets adjusted.
There you go.
Yeah.
And there's a great crossover. I mean, for people that want to high peak perform business, they know they got to take care of their body. All of them. I mean, I just the other day, I checked Tony Robbins a few days ago, and he actually, I mean, if you talk about peak performance coaches, mentors, business, I mean, he's
the guy.
He's the guy, right?
Yeah.
So he was flying to Utah, and he touched down in Colorado just to get his spine checked.
Smart man.
Right? So, like, people that are into peak performance, right? Tim Ferriss, they know they have to take care of their instrument, and chiropractic, is if you want to talk about optimization, we want them to have chiropractic in that, feather in the cap towards optimizing their bodies and have them realize that. And so it's a great connection, I think.
Dude.
So, So you wanted to mention, we got a few more minutes left. I want to talk about Cairo Sushi some more. You wanted to ask me about NSA. What did you want to ask me about NSA?
So I want to talk to you about why, where you think, because I think NSA is growing as adoption for practice. I think more people are seeing it. Obviously, there's more clubs on campuses, which I'm hearing, which is great. Can you, for me, what is the best definition of what the technique of NSA does and how? Because a mutual friend of ours, Dr. Erin here, we were at a New York Council meeting, and she was asking Dr. Todd Stein, who's in upstate New York, and you trained Todd, I believe. And he had a really great answer. But for people out there, because I'll be sharing this around for our network, no pun intended. How does network work? And for those that are like, I don't get it, what aren't they getting?
Okay, so I like keeping it simple. Especially this kind of forum, I'm just going to keep it real simple. I'll do the technical stuff in the program, right? So the keep it simple thing is, network spinal analysis, there's two ways of looking at life, all right? There's I want to get rid of stuff and get something bad to go away, right? And there's stuff I don't like I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to have a disease, right? I want to get rid of stuff I don't like. Subluxations are evil. I want to get rid of them, right? So there's that way of kind of looking at the world. And then there's another way of looking at the world of saying, I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to create abundance, right? And you're looking at, it's like that law of attraction, just looking at things a different way rather than what I don't want, what I do want, all right? So network is fully focused on spinal subluxations and in enhancing the integrity of the spine. However, we're looking at it completely differently. Instead of that, we want to get rid of this bad, evil subluxation. We want to adjust the spine and apply forces from the whole breadth, like the whole gamut or paint palette of what types of adjustments there are, because toggle recoil is great. It's not the only type of adjustment that's existed in chiropractic that's effective.
Right.
Toughness did great things, Logan did great things, SOT did great things, Major DeJarnett, all these people. If there's this whole palette, where can I apply which type of force of all those techniques? When do I do which one? And not only do it because I want to get rid of the bad subluxation, but I want to do it in such a way that I'm focusing on the outcome of not just getting rid of a negative, but the spine being healthier. Most people, when they feel a spine, they only know how to feel for something bad that they don't like, or look for something they don't like, versus could you tell me what a healthy spine looks like? Can you tell me what a healthy spine feels like? What is the experience of a person's body that has a healthy spine? What is an unsubluxated? You tell me this is what subluxation is like, detecting and analyzing.
Oh, that's beautiful, dude.
What is it like when a person's subluxation free? So we're looking at analyzing the spine in such a way of we want to get to where they look, what the characteristics of a healthy spine is, rather than only focus on where's the nail and how do I hammer it in, right? So it's focused on subluxation. However, we want to have the end result of an enhanced spinal and neural integrity, and there's measures and outcomes of that. That's part one. Part two is that using the whole palette of things and when do you use which. And third, that we adjust a person in such a way that they actually better self-manage, self-correct, and make changes on their own. And here's why that's super important. Most people, most chiropractic techniques, all right, you talk upper cervical, you talk Logan, you talk Gonstead, the foundational techniques, not the 40 things that have sprung off from them, but most of them, they were Thompson, etc. Those were all developed from early 1900s to like the 40s and 50s. Since like the 40s and 50s, chiropractic technique and chiropractic schools kind of died. Chiropractic research, the schools went into this whole medical thing, 60s and 70s, right? So development, all those techniques that people are great, they were developed with the consciousness at that time that we want to get the biggest change in the person's body, subluxation reduction, correction now, right? Because we don't know if we're going to see them for the rest of their life. Like, we might go to jail like tomorrow. I gotta for practicing chiropractic, in medicine without a license. So we're going to get the biggest change, right? Like, that was the conscious, and most of them it's checked for the same major type of distortion, whether it be upper cervical, Logan, or Gonstead. Let's address the same major distortion every single time the person comes in. And if that same one major distortion that I know how to correct with my technique is gone, then they're clear. But that doesn't mean they're clear, because if I check them with Logan and I was an upper cervical practitioner, they may not be clear according to that technique. Or if I go check them with a toughness lens, they may not be clear, but they were clear with a DTG. So what happens is, now if we're going to see people for their lifetime, the way I check their spine this first month that I'm seeing them, the way I check them 3 years from now should be different. I shouldn't be checking for the same distortions every time. Their body should have developed a better ability to self-correct and make its own changes. And the way I adjust them, their body should be able to make more change from it. So really, those are kind of like the three foundational things.
That's awesome,
that
dude.
Their network is. But when people think, well, it's not chiropractic, well, what makes something not chiropractic? What's your definition? Well, they're locating, analyzing, and correcting subluxations. Well, we do that. We just do it differently than you.
Yeah, and I think I mean, that's I told you, like we talked about earlier, man. If I'm when I get my degree, that's my technique, man.
Well, I'll be your Mr. Miyagi. So
I look forward to it, dude. I look forward to it.
So I hope that answers.
That was awesome, dude.
Cool. Now, Cairo Sushi Summit, right? Yep. When's the next one?
2018. It's June 21st to 23rd, Las Vegas.
Okay, so that means I have to keep my schedule clear for the 21st to 23rd.
I want you guys to hang out with Tucker Max, man. That stuff's gonna be. We're planning a Saturday night with Tucker Max, Pam, Liam, a couple other funny people. It's gonna be basically like a comedy night for chiropractic. That's
awesome. And who doesn't like Vegas? It's in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And who doesn't like Vegas?
We get
Right.
pretty raw. We get pretty debaucherous too. It's old school. It's like the '80s, man.
Awesome. So we'll be there, and then so say more about it. What else is going on, and tell people about the samurai.
Thursday, just to give you guys a concept of what Sushi Summit looks like, it's going to be really fast paced. The longest presentations are going to be 18 minutes, and then we're going to have a bunch of panels. So it's going to be very much similar to TED Talk style. And Thursday will be mindset, Friday will be marketing. Friday will be sales, and Saturday will be marketing. So those are the themes. We don't do philosophy, we don't do technique, because I believe Mile High, Berkshire's, there's a number. Those are the places that I would recommend, and that obviously we promote for being like that. You can get, and you can still get great business strategies there too. But we just focus on marketing, sales, and mindset, business development, if you will. And then Samurai, you guys can go to ChiroSushiSamurai.com and check that out. Learn more about what we're doing there. You get a bunch. Basically, it pays for your summit tickets. It pays for. We give you free books. You get access to all these mentors, and then we do workshops. Like I like to call it the Genius Bar of Cairo Sushi. You get to work with mostly me during the week. You can schedule an hour sessions during the week. We can work on your funnels. We can work on your website. We made, for example, we made John D'Ambrosio a whole new website within Samurai.
Awesome.
He got his crappy old WordPress that didn't have anything on it, and now it's ranking. It's actually ranking on Google and growing on ranking. So,
Awesome.
That's it, man. That's and just so grateful for the IFCO crew and the Mile High crew and what you've done, man. And I wanted to say thank you at the beginning, but I dropped it. But I want to thank you for the amount of money that you put into the research foundation. We're still trying to figure out with sushi. People kind of asked us, where is money going? I'll give you guys a heads up. We're not there yet because we're about $70,000 in the hole still from last year. I mean, it's just, I'm full disclosure. But once we get to having actual profits and stuff like that, we're looking at two things: a slush fund, a nonprofit slush fund for when the storm hits for a chiropractor and they don't have access to their hands or they can't adjust anymore. And so something to protect them when things happen or when they pass away, like in the situation with Dr. Andy Roberts a couple years ago and stuff like that. So we're thinking about doing something that's a protective thing. And then the second thing is, I've shared this at DE, I'll share this now. Super Bowl commercial. So we want to put a Super Bowl commercial on for chiropractic. That's a goal. So that's, people are always like, "Where's your money going?" And then at some point, I gotta pay Ryan for looking so cute on camera. So.
Well, yeah, you gotta do that.
Yeah.
Well, I really, hats off to you. The amount of energy you're putting in, I super appreciate it. I think it's great. I think people need to clear their calendar to go to Cairo Sushi. I want people, we're going to put the link, the web URL, how they can become part of the Samurai, get in that, all in the blog post for this. And I want people to get on that.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for sharing about NSA to our network with today, and thanks for what you guys did at Mile High with getting so much money for research. You did. I mean, I don't know if people. I mean, I think what'd you get? Like $60,000-$70,000 after
Dude, we
all
got
said
up
and
to.
done?
I mean, we got up to from the group, and this just tells you the consciousness of everybody that was in attendance. We got up to over $55,000 people gave during the course of the weekend.
Boom, dude.
And that's huge, and we need to have that going on. So,
thanks, man. Thanks for all you do too at Sherman and everything, dude. I don't know how you keep your head on straight, but you do it, and I know how you do it.
It's all the
because
NSA
of chiropractic.
care. It's all the NSA care. And hey, next time we'll make sure you get checked by Donald too.
Oh, I'll be ready for it that time, man. I love you, brother. I love you so much.
Right.
Be well, dude.
Appreciate spending the time today. Hey, give love to your family. And everybody, ChiroSushi.com. Get there and become part of the Samurai, and you want to be in that group and get to Vegas in June. Everybody loves Vegas.
Be well, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Like our page on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Mile High Cairo.